And welcome. I'd like to call to order the Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors business meeting Tuesday, February 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. Board meeting room 39 Bank Street, Chatham, Virginia. Ms. McCluster, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Tucker?
Present.
Mr. Warren?
Present.
Mr. Scares?
Here.
Mr. Cheshire?
Here.
Mr. Ingram?
Present.
Mr. Dudley?
Present.
Mr. Dalton?
Here. Would you all join me in a moment of silence, and then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any items to be added to the agenda?
Kaylin didn't give us any.
Pay attention. Yeah, you did.
Did she?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion to add resolution number 2023-02-02 as item 13A.
All right, can I get a motion to add that?
I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need a second. Yes, sir. All right, second by Mr. Scares. Any discussion on the motion? If not, we're ready to vote. We good? All right, item 6, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank y'all. Or any discussion on the motion? If not, we're ready to vote. Moving to item 7, consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right, thank y'all, gentlemen. Any discussion? We're ready to vote.
Good. You're moving us along, brother.
Item 8, presentations.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
looks like she's behind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
What does your screen look like? And I apologize, we have new agenda software, if y'all would just bear with us.
Mine I voted, and
I
then
voted
it come
yes,
back down
and-
again.
And
Vote on the
say,
second time on consent agenda.
Did everyone have a yes?
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
mine,
I got it
yes.
twice.
Thank you.
I might vote 3 times and get my name in that right there.
Are we good now, Ms. McCluster?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 8, general presentations. Any for the board this month?
We don't have any.
All right, thank you. Item 9, hearing of the citizens. Each person addressing the board under the hearing of the citizens shall be a resident or a landowner of the county and or the registered agent, such resident or landowner. Each person shall step up, give his or her name and district in an audio tone of voice for the record, and unless further time is granted by the chairman, shall limit his or her address to 3 minutes. No person shall be permitted to address the board more than once during a hearing of the citizens. All remarks should be addressed to the board as a body, not any individual member thereof. Hearing of the citizens shall last for a maximum of 45 minutes. Any individual that signs up to speak during the said session who does not get the opportunity to do so because of the aforementioned limit time limit shall be given speaking priorities at the next board meeting. Absent the chairman's approval, no person shall be able to speak who has not signed up. Do we have anybody signed up, Ms. McCluster?
Yes, sir. Jim Scares.
Welcome, Mr. Scares.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jim Scares, and I live in the Westover District. Touched on last month. In the December Board of Supervisors meeting, the then chairman made a motion to name the proposed new jail after former Sheriff Taylor McGregor. During the discussion of the motion, it was mentioned that this should go to the naming committee first, and after reviewing any other nominees, a recommendation sent to the board for consideration. At that point, the former chairman stated it had been to the naming committee. I must point out that the former chairman also chaired the naming committee in December. Upon hearing this, several of the supervisors spoke up and said they were not aware of a naming committee being held because they would have attended if it had been. The county attorney also spoke up and stated he was not aware of a naming committee meeting as well. He also stated that a notice of the meeting should have been posted to the public to give them an opportunity to attend them and bring candidate names before the committee. This actually falls under the Virginia Open Meetings Law that ensures that citizens have the opportunity to be informed and take part in what their elected officials are doing. The following week, I submitted a FOIA request for the county attorney's office for the minutes and any other information pertaining to the naming committee meeting that the former chairman stated had taken place. After the prescribed time limit, I was notified by a representative of the county attorney that his office did not have any of the information I requested. Not only did the former chairman blatantly violate, not only did the chairman blatantly violate the Virginia Open Meetings Law by not notifying the public of the meeting to allow their attendance, but not keeping minutes and any other pertinent information relating to the meeting on file is also a violation of that same law. Not only is he in violation of this law, but also anyone else who participated in this meeting, which includes the current chairman of this board. It appears that the Board of Supervisors has traded one chairman that had no reservations about breaking county rules as well as state law to push his personal agendas for a new chairman that apparently operates in the same manner. After conferring with my lawyer, I have been informed that there are substantial penalties for officials that violate the Virginia Open Meetings Law. We are currently evaluating our next steps to ensure the former and current leadership of this board adheres to all county and state regulations and law. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Scares. Any more signed up, Ms. McCluster?
Yes, Vanessa Scares.
All right. Something's wrong with your mic, yes, Scott. Welcome, Ms. Scares.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Good.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Scares, and I reside in the Westover District. Good evening and Happy New Year. Please accept my apologies for not attending last month's meeting. I had the opportunity to travel to Richmond to attend Chamber Day at the Capitol. Otherwise, I would have been present. I believe it is more important now than ever for people to realize that to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, we must make it a priority to become involved in government. When we examine the condition of our world, country, state, or region, we have no one to blame except ourselves for the condition that we find ourselves in. After all, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Unfortunately, the governed have given consent by being complacent, and the people that we put into power just seem to want to take advantage of their power. Don't misunderstand me. I still believe that we live in the greatest country on the planet, and also add that we live in the greatest state in this country. On July 4th, 1776, almost 247 years ago, the Declaration of Independence was unanimously approved by the action of the Second Continental Congress. Are you aware that there was only one state of the original 13 that had more signers to that document than the state of Virginia? Then in 1787, the Constitution of the United States was signed under the direction of President George Washington, another Virginian. It is my hope that many people that reside right here in Pennsylvania County will make it their priority to do their part to make this county the best place to live. I would like to do my part by providing each person here with a copy of the Constitution of the United States and the Declaration of Independence. There is no charge, and I have extra copies if you will just promise them to give them to the youth that you know. To end, I would like to quote George Washington. "A primary object should be the education of our youth in the science of government. In a republic, what species of knowledge can be equally important? And what duty more pressing than communicating it to those who will be the future guardians of the liberties of our country?" Thank you for your time, and please see me at the end of the meeting if you've not already received one of these.
Thank you, Ms. Garris. Anyone else signed up, Ms. McCluster?
Sir. Stephen, I'm going to go ahead and apologize, Benarsdale. Thank you.
Welcome.
Pardon me. Good evening, Chairman, esteemed members of the Board of Supervisors, and fellow citizens of Pennsylvania County. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you all tonight. My name is Stephen Van Arsdale, and I reside in the Chatham District. I'm current active duty Army and have served over 20 years. I've deployed to multiple combat locations around the world. I'm a former station commander for Danville Army Recruiting, and on June 1st, I'll take over as First Sergeant for the Lynchburg Recruiting Company, which covers Pennsylvania County on upwards to Campbell County. Some may say I know a thing or two about leadership, which is what I wanted to speak about briefly tonight, specifically in the areas of cooperation, teamwork, and humility. But before I begin, I want to start out with a quote from former President and Army Colonel Teddy Roosevelt. "The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people." That's cooperation, dealing with and addressing issues, identifying problems and developing solutions while simultaneously ensuring that mutual respect is upheld. What about teamwork? I learned as a private that it's not being a member of an organization that's important. It's how you conduct yourself at work and in private when you think no one's watching. Lastly, I want to touch on humility, and it's the point of why I'm here tonight. For the past year, I've been witness to some of the most unprofessional comments and actions made by members of this board and their relatives. Some of these matters even went so far as to become personal, and because of that, it became personal to me, because the targets of these actions are my relatives, one of which is sitting next to you, Vic Ingram, my father-in-law. And while he may not require to be defended in person, he most certainly deserves to be. But let me continue. For months, these interruptions went on and were mostly uncontested. But I'm willing to bet that there's no such interruptions lately. Am I right? That's rhetorical. And that brings me to my final point. Humility is a fragile thing. We've all had to endure on roles we felt were beneath us or didn't maximize our potential from our perspective. And that's okay, because that's life. We're all grown, and you have an obligation to get over yourself and move forward as a team in cooperation as well as mutual respect with each other in public as well as in private. The citizens of this county deserve nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else, Ms. McCluster?
Sir, Brenda Bowman.
Welcome, Ms. Bowman.
Thank you, and hello again. Good evening, Chairman Dalton, board members, staff, and audience. My name is Brenda Bowman, and I reside in the Chatham-Blairs District. I am speaking for a group of over 50-plus businesses on the commercial corridor of Route 41, Franklin Turnpike, in the Chatham, Blairs, and Westover districts. Thank you for allowing me to speak at the work session earlier today. I will not repeat the entire presentation, but hit highlights in asking for your support for a study to consider a traffic signal on the commercial corridor of Franklin Turnpike in the Mount Hermon district. This ask comes in light of the fatality in front of the Tuscarora Shopping Center on January 21st, where a 66-year-old woman died and a 17-year-old girl was seriously injured. Within a period of 2 or 3 hours that same afternoon, there were at least 2 other accidents in the same proximity. My previous report, of which you all have copies, provides statistics of over 2,050 households, the 16,000 daily vehicle count through that business corridor, the 350 annual funerals at Norris Funeral Home, and the 600-plus 911 accident calls for the past 5 years, to include 5 fatalities. You also have copies of the petitions with signatures from the 50-plus businesses in support of this study. The Pittsylvania County line begins at Orphanage Road on Route 41, and while most of it is in the Chatham Blairs district, part of it is in the Westover district. For the next 20-plus miles to Callens Road, there is not one stoplight or blinking light, with the exception of a flashing light that comes on and off twice a day for the opening and closing of Twin Springs Elementary School. By way of comparison, the intersection of Route 29 and Tight Squeeze Road has approximately 50 businesses around that intersection, and it has a stoplight. The Brosville Station area on Route 58 and Berry Hill Road have fewer businesses but more traffic, but there's a stoplight. For purposes of this upcoming study, the following suggestions from citizens and business representatives are made to consider a traffic signal at one or more of the following intersections: Mount Hermon Circle and Oak Forest Drive at Tuscarora Shopping Center. There are 3 entrances and exits in front of Tuscarora Shopping Center and 1 entrance exit on the side, all of which are directly across Ma Possum's Restaurant, Norris Funeral Home, and Dollar General. The second one would be Jeanette Drive and Route 41 at the entrance to Fairmont Estates, and the third, Orphanage Road and Route 41 at the county-city line. Thank you for your time again in listening, and hopefully Mr. J. Craddock with VDOT answered your questions earlier today regarding the future study. Brenda Bowman, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. Anyone else signed it, Ms.
That's all,
McCluskey?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Moving to item 10, public hearings for rezoning. Pursuant to Article 5, Division 6 of the Pennsylvania County Zoning Ordinance, the Board of Supervisors has been empowered to hear and decide specific zoning issues, zoning map changes in support of said ordinance. In accomplishing this important task, the board is responsible for promoting the health, safety, and general public welfare of the citizens of Pennsylvania County. The board must ensure that all its decisions and regulations be directed to these goals, and that each be consistent with the environment, the comprehensive plan, in the best interest in Pennsylvania County, its citizens, and its posterity. In case R 22-038, Ms. Ragsdale.
Case R-22-038, Myrtle Shields has petitioned to rezone 0.31 acres located on State Road 835 Pleasant Gap Drive in the Chatham Blairs Election District from A1 Agricultural District to R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to consolidate with an adjacent property zoned R1. On January 3rd, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended by an 8-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. Once the property is rezoned to R1, all uses listed under Section 35-222 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Brian Shields is here to represent the petition.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ragsdale. I open the public hearing at 7:19. Welcome, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I just ask your consideration on this matter. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank
you. 7:19, close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we rezone, I make a motion that we approve case R 22-038 to rezone 0.31 acres from A1 Agricultural District to R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to allow property lines to be adjusted. This is in keeping with the comprehensive plan.
I'll second that. Thank you, Mr. Warren. Get a second?
Vic-
Mr. Dudley?
Vic beat me to it.
Oh, Vic?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ingram. Any discussion? If not, we're ready to vote. Did it all go through? All right, thank y'all. Case being approved. Item 2, public hearing, case R22-040. Ms. Ragsdale.
Case R-22-040, Harold and Cecilia Hayden have petitioned to rezone 6.59 acres located off of State Road 806 Ivory Branch Road in the Callens-Gretna Election District from A1 Agricultural District and R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District to consolidate with an adjacent property zoned A1. On January 3rd, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended by an 8-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. Once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under Section 35-178 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, the applicants are not here tonight, but I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
All right. 7:21, open the public hearing. Do we have anybody signed up, Ms. McCluskey, to speak?
No, sir.
You said no one signed, okay. All right, and I'll close it at 7:22. And that's gonna be for me. Any questions? Yeah, that'd be fine, one of y'all would.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. In case number R22-040, I make a motion to approve the rezoning of 6.59 acres from A1 Agricultural District and R1 Residential Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District to allow property lines to be adjusted.
Second.
This is in keeping with the comprehensive plan.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
I got all of you on that one, I'm sorry.
If not, we're ready to vote. All right, moving to item 3, in case R22-041, Ms. Ragsdale.
Case R-22-041, Claudia and Willie Aaron have petitioned to rezone 45.58 acres located on State Road 806 Ivory Branch Road in the Callens-Gretna Election District from A1 Agricultural District and R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District to consolidate with an adjacent property zoned A1. On January 3rd, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended by an 8-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. Once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under Section 35-178 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, these applicants are not present either. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I will just let you know that these applicants and the applicants from the previous case are relatives. They're trying to redivide family property. So that is the reason for both of these rezonings at the same time.
Okay. 7:23, open the public hearing. Says no one here to represent it. 7:24, I'll close it. All right, ready for motion.
Okay. What case was that? Was that R-22-040?
41.
Mr. Chairman, for
Okay.
case R-22-041, I make a motion to approve the rezoning 45.58 acres from A1 Agricultural District and R-1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District to allow property lines to be adjusted.
Thank you. Got a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Any discussion on the motion? If not, we're ready to vote.
My computer's hung up.
All right, thank you all, gentlemen.
Yeah. My computer hung up. I can't do it.
All right, moving to public hearings. Did it go through?
Yes, sir.
We good? Okay. Each person addressing the board under the public hearing shall step up, give his or her name and district, and or his or her place of residents for non-resident citizens in an altered tone of voice for the record, and unless further time is granted by the chairman, shall limit his or her address to 3 minutes. Speakers for the group should be limited to 10 minutes. Speakers shall conclude their remarks at the time unless the consent of the board is affiliated with the given extended speaker allotted time. Absent chairman approval, no person shall be able to speak who has not signed up. All right, item 1. Ms. McCluster, this will be yours on the Chapter 43 revisions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So the Legislative Committee discussed these revisions at their recent committee meeting. This is pretty much just going to bring us in line with what the state has adopted and all of the updates. We've had some boards that have been dissolved. We've had boards that have been created. And what this also does is just allows us to accept those annual filings, the signatures, and the submissions electronically.
All right. 726, open the public hearing. Anyone signed up?
We don't have anyone signed up.
All right. At 726, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chester. Do I
I'll
have a
second. Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dudley. Any discussion on the motion?
Kevin, if you got a little time, maybe you want to look at this thing.
If
so
not,
I
we're
can't
ready
get
to
in.
vote, gentlemen.
Mr. Dudley, did you say you can't get on yours?
Yeah, I'm able to vote, but I cannot click on a certain case. It takes me back to the old one. That's why I asked a while ago if it was 040 or 041. So Kevin can take care of it, I'm sure. But I have voted, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Tell me what I did wrong. It's a white screen, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. Number 2, public property disposition to Southside Soccer. Mr. Chris Slim. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. The Southside Soccer Club, a nonprofit tax-exempt corporation, has for some time afforded the opportunity for our youth in the county to participate in an organized soccer league. The soccer club has been successful and enjoyed by thousands of youth in the county. Currently, the soccer club uses the recreational fields adjacent to the old Blair's School located on East Witt Road in the Blair's Magisterial District for soccer games, which hopefully will come up here on your screen in just a second, a plat of that property. The soccer club has approached the county requesting to have the land transferred to their ownership for $1 in order for them to be able to pursue grants so they may update the facilities and the land and so forth. After conducting a legally required public hearing, staff recommends the board approve the transfer of the property to the soccer club via the deed that was in your packet, which does also have a first right of refusal should they cease business, and we would have first right to purchase the property back.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the transfer of 9.519 acres.
Mr. Warren, excuse me, I need to see if there's anybody here to speak.
Oh,
on
I'm
this.
sorry.
Okay, open it.
That's all right.
Okay, we fine. All right.
I'm
729, I open the public hearing. Is anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve the transfer of 5.519 acres of land, tax parcel ID number 2421-71-1625 to Southside Soccer Club Incorporated for the sum of $1 by the deed as attached and presented.
I'll second that.
All right, there's a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank this organization. They have several of their folks in attendance tonight. If you don't mind, raise your hands if you're part of that. I don't know if you've ever been by there on Saturday mornings, but you can hardly get through there from the participation they have, and it's a real pleasure to see all the young people that are taking advantage of it, and the volunteers that are giving of their time and all to promote the team and the camaraderie between those children and giving them an opportunity to improve their health and everything. We appreciate it very much. You all do a great job, and this is one of the highlights of my time here to be able to turn this land over to you all, and hope that you'll be able to get some grants and continue to do great things out there that you've done in the past. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
likewise, I wanted to thank the staff and the coaches for all that you do for our young people. I've had the honor of sponsoring several teams through the years, and so that's money well spent, and I plan on doing it again. And I think this is a great thing, and thank y'all for what you're doing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Any more discussion on the motion? All right, we're ready to vote.
We've got it.
We good?
We're to
Okay.
go.
Done.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 11. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
All right. Number 12, any new business?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Item 13, matters from the work session.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-02-02, County Attorney Employment Agreement Amendment Number 2.
Second.
Got a second? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we're ready to vote. All right, passed 6-1. All right, moving on to item 14, board members' reports. Mr. Tucker.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for this opportunity. And I want to, as always, express my gratitude and appreciation to the county staff for doing all the heavy lifting, the background preparatory work. Just very briefly, I just want to take a minute in this platform to recognize Black History Month, and I want to basically celebrate those that gave of themselves in the past to help make our great nation what it is today. And also I want to celebrate those that are currently making history in that community and making contributions to our culture and to our society. And I at a loss for words other than what Paul told the Corinthian church. He says to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So thank you again for this platform.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Dudley?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir. Basically, want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank our staff for basically putting these meetings together and making it easy for us, facilitating and everything. I thank our board. We've been here a good while today, since about 2:30, and some of the long days you get tired, even if, physically not working, it'll wear you down. But thank the board, but I appreciate everybody coming out and being with us tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Warren?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I want to recognize Ronnie Haymore. We had a big loss recently for this county. Ronnie gave of his time and talents for many, many, many years on the IDA board. He also participated in the youth programs and coached a lot of baseball, big baseball lover. Coached some at Chatham High School, not as an employee, but as a volunteer, and he just touched a lot of lives in this county, and he will be greatly missed. So tonight, when you lay down, remember his family and in your prayers, and You just don't find many public servants like Ronnie. You might not always agree with Ronnie, but you always knew exactly where Ronnie stood because he was going to stand up and tell you just how he felt, and that's okay.
That's all right.
You know, I appreciate a gentleman that's like that, and he certainly was a gentleman, and I will miss our times at Rubens and other places when he and I would have the opportunity to go back and forth and make fun a little bit of Greg and Colby. So we would just miss those times. And like I said, please remember that family.
All right, thank you, Mr. Warren. Mr. Scares?
Thank you. Just wanted to let people know the last resolution we passed was to renew the contract for our county attorney, and I wanted to thank him for his service. He's been one of the few in our staff that have been able to keep this county going, including Kim Vanderhyde and Emily Ragsdale. We've been looking for a county administrator for well over a year, and he's a big reason that this county is still operating. So I wanted to thank him for his service, and I just let him know that I would have rewarded you better in the contract if it had been up to me because of the hard work you've done. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Scares. Mr. Ingram?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to echo what Mr. Warren said about Ronnie Haymore. He was quite a unique individual, and he served us well. I had the honor of reappointing him to the IDEA board, and I would also like to ask that you remember Ronnie's family, Penny, Greg, Ron, H.F. Haymore. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. It's very difficult. That family lost 2 brothers within a month. I did want to touch on Black History Month, and this could be dangerous because there's so many people that I idolize. I've got to start with one of my favorite stock car drivers, the late Wendell Scott. And then I think about Tommy McMahon, one of the first black educators in our school system. He came to Coates Elementary School, and he was the only black male there, and he did a fabulous job. And how could I not mention the Prince, George Coleman, retiring from the sheriff's office after 42 years. And a native Virginian, even though he's not a Pennsylvania County native, Juan Thornhill, who played safety for my beloved Kansas City Chiefs, who won the 2nd Super Bowl in 4 years. So how about that? And finally, the Tunstall High School varsity basketball team is playing as we speak. So I appreciate the short meeting, so maybe I can catch the end of it. But they're working toward the state championship. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Mr. Cheshire?
Yes, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight, for participating in the process. Ms. Gibbs, thank you for the Constitution booklet. It's very kind of you. It's been a very, very busy week on my end. A year ago, this week, I was in ICU, and now here I am. I've got a full head of hair and a beard again.
There you go.
So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Lord's hand and a lot of prayers. It was a long ride. I've learned many things in that time period. Do keep my daughter-in-law in prayer. She is actually going through the same thing now that I went. She's 26. Her name is Alex. She's not been with my family less than a year. And I've got a super cool daughter-in-law. Very blessed to have her. So please keep her in your prayers. And this one thing come across my feed today, and I know it's probably not out of the blue, but it really made an impact on me when I read it. Hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. And when I read that, my grandfather was in the South Pacific World War II. And I remember the things he told me, the sacrifices, and compared to where we are today. And I just thought I would read that there's still some good people out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chester. Yes, I'd like to echo some of the comments that just being made. First off, I'd like to thank the citizens, everyone that come out tonight, the people that spoke. I want to thank all our staff. And again, I want you to think about the Jeff Stone family. He was a gentleman that worked with me for 30-some years. And We lost him about a week or so ago, so please keep him and his family in your prayers, and also the Haymore family. There's been a lot of loss here lately. But with that, thank the board member, everybody this evening. We had a good evening, a long evening, but it was good. Thank y'all. Mr. Vaden, you have anything?
Yes, I just want to thank the board and the confidence in me regarding my contract. I also want to thank my staff. What the public probably doesn't realize is that we implemented and used a brand-new voting software tonight. And due to the hard work of Holly and Kaylin and Kevin and Oki and Scott and Josh and Dave, other than one little hiccup, it was pretty smooth tonight. And so you don't know the countless hours and troubleshooting and bugs that they've had to work out. And I'm just very fortunate to have them work for me and this county. And they do a good job behind the scenes every day. And without them, we wouldn't look nearly as smart as we do. And I know sometimes we don't look very smart. But anyway, thank them for their hard work. Thank the board for a good meeting. And again, I appreciate your faith in me.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr.